Honorable Zachary Mwangijeru, Chairperson, Committee on Finance, Economic Planning, ICT and Revenue, and member for Nyakio.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Finance, Economic Planning and ICT and Revenue on the Nyandarua County Revenue Fund. That is half-year report and financial statements for the year ended that first day of December 2024 as a report of the House, and the recommendations are therein as the resolution of the House. Honorable Speaker, with me is the Nyandarua County Revenue Fund report and financial statements for the aforementioned period. And Honorable Speaker, I want to go directly to Chapter 2, that is pertaining committee findings and observations. Honorable Speaker, upon perusing the necessary documents, Honorable Speaker, and having considered the County Revenue Fund report and financial statements for the period under review, the county government operations are financed by equitable share, OSR, and conditional grants, which are channeled through the County Revenue Fund, held at the Central Bank of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, the County Treasury prepared a budget for the financial year 24-25 that was approved by this House, worth Kenya shillings 8,486,472,321 shillings. And Honorable Speaker, the components of the budget are equitable share from the national government, OSR, FIF, conditional grants from the national government and other development partners, as shown in the table below. Honorable Speaker, at the equitable share we had 6,137,355,000. That constituted to a percentage of 72.32% of the total. OSR, there was a projection of 600 million. That was 7.07% of the entire budget. We have the FIF, that is that had a total of 250 million, and that is equivalent to 2.95%. We have conditional loans and grants totaling to 1,499,117,321 Kenya shillings, totaling to 17.66%. And that is what constituted the entire grand total of 8.48 billion. And Honorable Speaker, as shown by the bar chart there, Honorable Speaker, the revenue performance was as follows. The actual performance in the first half of the year, that is 24-25, as tabulated in table 2. The budget was for the equitable share, it was 6.13 billion. The actual release, Honorable Speaker, was at 2.93 billion. That constituted to 41%. OSR, we had a projection of 600 million. The actual was 116,475,289, and that only constituted to 22%. We had the FIF, the conditional grants, that constituted the rest of the percentage, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the county has been receiving equitable share from the national government, which accounts to at least 70% of the county revenue. Equitable share projection for financial year 24-25 was at 6.13 billion. During the first half, It is good to note that the county received 2.936 billion from the national government, which accounts to 47.84% of the expected equitable share. In the committee findings, Honorable Speaker, the county has an over-reliance to equitable share. The controller of budget for the period under review reports an amount of 2.453 billion, which is a different from the amount reported by the county revenue fund. This ought to have been explained by a conciliation from the county revenue fund, and the committee did wrote to the department for the department to do the necessary reconciliation and provide the necessary documents. Honorable Speaker, the county government in the financial year 24-25 anticipated to collect 850 million, entailing 600 million as own source revenue and 250 million as FIF, that is facility improvement financing, which accounts for 10% of the total budget. However, the county only managed to collect 116 million 475,289 in the shillings in the period under review, accounting for only 19.41% of the projected OSR revenue, implying that the county needs to adopt new raising measures or enhance the existing revenue streams in order to achieve the set target. Honorable Speaker, the county revenue fund reports revenue received in the fund. The FIF is collected by the health facilities and utilized in the facility, meaning that the funds do not hit the county revenue fund. The revenue reported above is collection from other sources of revenue, while FIF was reported by the receiver of revenue in her report as Kenya shillings 110 million 895,361 shillings. And it is good to note that own source revenue reported by the county revenue fund, receiver of revenue, and the controller of budget for the period under review differs. So it is good to note that a reconciliation statement is required to reconcile the figures, since the source of the information is the county treasury. Honorable Speaker, under conditional grants, the county has been receiving conditional grants and loans from the national government and development partners. And in the period under review, the county did not receive any amount of conditional grants from the national government and development partners. It is anticipated in the subsequent quarters, the county will receive grants which were projected at 17.66% of the total budget. And Honorable Speaker, it is good to note that this was the discussion that was here in the morning plenary from a similar report. Other payments, Honorable Speaker, the withdrawal of funds from the revenue fund is authorized by the County Appropriation Act. The county treasury seek approval of the controller of budget to withdraw funds from the county revenue fund to the county executive and county assembly bank accounts. These entities are responsible of their respective approved budgets. And during the period under review, total receipts amounted to Kenya shillings 3 billion 14,364 Kenya shillings were received in the county revenue fund. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, total payments of Kenya shillings 2,229,774,158 Kenya shillings were made from the CRF, both for the county executive and the county assembly. And it is always good to note that transfers to the county executive amounted to Kenya shillings 1,890,598,513 Kenya shillings, and Kenya shillings 339,175,000 645 Kenya shillings to County Assembly. The accounting officer of the County Revenue Fund is required to prepare and submit financial statements to the Auditor General and a copy to the Controller of Budget and the Commission on Revenue Allocation. So, Honorable Speaker, that is as far as the analysis is concerned. And as for the period under review, and Honorable Speaker, in view of the foregoing, the committee makes the following recommendations: that this House does adopt the committee's report on the County Revenue Fund and financial statements for the year ended 31st day of December 2024, and the recommendations therein as a resolution of this Honorable House, and that the CECM, Economic Planning and ICT and Revenue, does within 30 days submit a reconciliation statement for the equitable share, that is CLF, and COB reports, and on-source revenue for purposes of making sure that the figures are consistent. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, there has been a minimal growth in revenue realized in the county. OSR noted a growth of 10%. And if concerted effort is put in place, Honorable Speaker, the county would make a significant difference. The county has moved from a cash basis to accrual basis. Therefore, the statement has no comparative figures. So, Honorable Speaker, that is as far as the said report and financial statement is concerned. I now wish to call upon Honorable Kayani to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to second this motion by the Chair of Finance Committee and the leading luminary in academics, the Honorable Zachary Jero, for a well-thought-out report. Honorable Speaker, as I support, I want to say two things. One, that the growth of the OSR, as indicated in the report, of 10% is something quite encouraging. However, I would implore the Department of Finance to move ahead and see the leakages in revenue collection so that we realize a little more. I was impressed, Honorable Speaker, to see Kiambu County, moving from 29 billion OSR to 54 billion OSR. No, 5.4, sorry. 2.9 to 5.4 billion growth in OSR. That's quite significant. Although you cannot compare the development and the sources of the OSR in Kiambu compared to Nyandarua. Kiambu is by far endowed in resources, in facilities, in towns. It has so many towns that are developed, and Nyandarua is still a child learning to walk. And therefore, for Nyandarua to be able to realize even a growth, a correction of OSR of around 600 million is a big stride. However, I would encourage sealing of the seepages. There has been indication that money might be collected, could have been collected, is corrected, but it's never remitted. We need to move away from the manual collection of money to cashless, so that every single coin collected from the public is accounted for. Would also note that the chair did indicate in his report, calling upon the CCM to provide reconciled records regarding the allocation, county allocation, and the OSR, so that there is a consistency in the reporting within the period of consideration. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the report is well thought out. And of course, anybody would expect it to be so, having come from the leading luminary in academics. I thought I was the best in academics, but the Honorable Zachary took a quick lead. I don't know how he managed to outmaneuver me. He's doing his PhD while I'm still struggling to do my master's. Honorable Joyce also the other day overtook me. I am waiting and hoping that Honorable Gadongo will also overtake me, but he seems to be slower than me, and therefore it will take a little more time for him to catch up. Honorable Gashoba is also, you know, joining the queue. We are competing with Honorable Gashoba for the seat of the Member of Parliament for Kinangop, and he's not he's not an easy person to wrestle. He's equal to the task, but I can assure him that I will be glad to see him vote Kayani for the Member of Parliament in 2027. But if he beats me, I am also happy to vote for him. He's a great man with a lot of experience in this county, and therefore me and him don't fight. We all know that both of us are good candidates for this post. So with those many remarks, without diversion, as Honorable Speaker, I second. Thank you.
I propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Finance, Economic Planning, ICT and Revenue on the Nyandarua County Revenue Fund, half-year report and financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024, as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. Honorable Joyce Munywa, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think in the morning we had the privilege of discussing for the last financial year, and it's good that this half of the year that ended, we are discussing it now. And also, as has been noted, that increase of 10% in the own source revenue is recommendable. But maybe because of lack of information, I would have wanted to know whether when the report is submitted, there is any information on the forecast, because when the budget is done, maybe there are things that have changed, because it's still a bit of a concern that if that's what we have been able to realize for the first half, are we really sure that we are going to achieve the income target? So maybe for me, it's more information on exactly. And I know the Chair Finance indicated it's not possible to have all the information in this report because it's more of a financial report. But maybe from other notes, it would have been important to note that. Mr. Speaker, I also note table 2, and I'm having a bit of concern because either there is an error or is something that I'm missing out on the budget column. The figures indicated there that are comparing the budget and actual, they differ with what has presented in the previous analysis of the budget, including especially the totals. So I'm thinking they may need to check that and the percentage so that we have a report that is reflective of the correct position. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable James Gashomba, Commissioner and
Thank
Member
you,
for
Honorable
Jabi.
Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let's support the report on finance, the finance and economic planning on revenue fund. And Mr. Speaker, I believe if they can be able to understand what the chairman was alluding on revenue enhancement, I think there's an opportunity as a county to understand that when we are doing our budgets, we actually put targets. And when we put the targets in our budget estimates, it is clear indication that the county should correct what has been indicated. And Mr. Speaker, you get to the percentages that are in last quarter, that was June, that is December. You see, they have about corrected 10%, of which, Mr. Speaker, I would request the department to put more effort on the same and try to get into and seek those leakages that revenue are being lost. Mr. Speaker, they should also target other areas that, Mr. Speaker, of quite importance in terms of revenue collection, not only in our small business permits, in our RADs and those small business premises. They should even tackle, Chair, I had the last time, that we have those waters that are being collected from Koreke to Nakuru, and others from Jabine to Sasimwa Dam to Nairobi, if they can be able to put some more emphasis on how you approach the Nairobi County in terms of creating more revenue resource, I think it will be more productive. So, Mr. Speaker, mine is just to enhance the committee to make sure that when we do, you don't want our budget to be affected when we get into implementation. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you allocate a road, maybe in the fire, where Kayen comes from, and automatically at the end of the year, he doesn't get the funds to implement that project, I think it would be very sad. So when we put the targets and are properly indicated in the budget that those funds will be available, let the committee understand that we need to appropriate those funds accordingly. And also in terms of maybe other automation of revenue, this county, Mr. Speaker, has erected much in revenue automation. We need, if they can be able also to do the automation of revenues, so that they can be able even to the leakages that are there should be sealed. If they get into that, and that progress, if it can be able to be, because I've seen it is in that quarter, they have only corrected 22%. If you get the documents, about 22%. If they can be able to put more effort on the same, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to realize our target as a county, and also to emphasize to the Minister of Finance to understand the recommendations that are being made by this committee should be adhered to, so that it can be able to make some more progress. I once again agree that we are competing with the Kayeni, and I also tell him that it's people of Kinangop who decide, who take the seat, but we don't fight. Because I believe people, Kayeni and me, you have only one vote. You just vote and get home. The rest will be put by our voters. So Kayeni, let's continue playing good politics that will be able to make our county and Kinangop to grow. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I beg your support. Thank you.
May call the mover to respond.
John shall call the mover to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the members who have contributed. And Honorable Speaker, to start with, there was an issue that was raised by Honorable Joyce pertaining table 2, that is on inconsistencies in figures. And Honorable Speaker, in my report, I indicated that the county treasury reported different figures in comparison to what was reported by the Auditor of Control of Budget and the Auditor General, Honorable Speaker, and that is why we have recommended that the CCM, Finance and Economic Planning and ICT and Revenue, within 30 days should submit a reconciliation statement, so that at least now we can have the actual figures and be in a position to have comparative figures. So though we might not be in a position to have comparative figures, bearing in mind that we have moved from cash basis to accrual basis. So it is all about reconciliation, so that what is reported, Honorable Speaker, by the County Treasury tallies from the report from the other heads. Pertaining the issue that was raised by Honorable Gashoba, we have been having issues with water levies and the issue to do with the milk cess. Honorable Speaker, this county have never been in a position, although we have been trying hard to see what can be done, ranging from what we have been losing through Sasimwa Dam and the Konoike project, Honorable Speaker. And it is more of a national issue, Honorable Speaker, that should be addressed collectively, Honorable Speaker, because we have tried as much as possible, even from the local water providers, Honorable Speaker, how we can be in a position to get some levies, which in return, Honorable Speaker, is revenue.
Maybe information, although he's sporting, just an information to the chairman.
Proceed.
Chairman, I was trying to emphasize on whether we can be able to put that in our finance bill. Because when we put it in our finance bill, we'll be able to negotiate with the Nairobi people when it is in our finance bill. Those levies of Konoike and Sasimo Dam, if they're in the finance bill, we'll be able to have a sitting and come with the way forward. That was only my input on that issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Honorable Zachary.
Honorable Speaker, to that perspective, I think in our finance bill we have been having water tariffs, but I think that is not enough, Honorable Speaker, bearing in mind that even during the last sitting we had, the Governor of Nairobi, the department, the respective department on water from that head, our governor, committee on water from here, we had a sitting at the, was it at the Senate or the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, and I can tell you, it was a tussle. Maybe let us keep the discussion open. We see how we approach the issue, Honorable Speaker. For Sasumwa Dam being a shared institution, there was an assumption that what we can get is a kind of corporate social responsibility, Honorable Speaker, but not to say revenue in terms of the number of liters that are going to Nairobi. And the discussion that was there was that we be provided with an alternative source of water. And if you remember, and this information is private to member for Jabine Keboru, we were promised that for this county and for this injustice to be sorted, Honorable Speaker, that we will be compensated with a dam over there, the Malewa Dam, another dam at Kipipiri, and Chania Dam. That is what has been happening, and that is why it has been so difficult for this county, Honorable Speaker, to have any levy on waters, especially those two projects, those two national projects, that is Sasumwa and Konoike. But let us sit down.
Point of information.
Yes, that information is very welcome.
Yes, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In addition to what Hon Kashoba gave as information, I also want to bring to the attention, as to speed, to the fact that water is legislated within the Constitution as a natural resource, just like game parks are. But unlike game parks, water is strictly a natural resource that does not attract any levies. I'm reminded, and that's what the chair was talking about the Muranga tunnel, water tunnel, that Muranga had a lot of hue and cry about it, but they were given an opportunity to access some of those resources. And therefore, for us as Nyandarua, we stand disadvantaged, because unless we make a bigger push towards having some sort of compensation, it's gonna get very difficult for us to get a penny in terms of revving that natural resource. A lot of it is also going to Naivasha all the way to Maimahiu, coming from the Abadeas and such region. But again, we stand there. The best we can do is to negotiate through the Intergovernmental Committee. The Senate is also sitting there to be able to really push for some other funding to develop our own water sources. I know St. Ruko and Honorable Kashoba is aware of that. Honorable Zakali and myself and Honorable Kasana come from the southern part of the Kinangop. We've been waiting for the development of that water resource to be able to serve that region. The only and the best thing we can do is to have the national government allocate enough resources to be able to provide an alternative for Nyandarua. But in terms of getting resource or OSL from it, I strongly doubt. CSR, it used to be there. Honorable Kashoba is aware of that, but it's no longer there. And therefore, I don't think we have a way to get OSR from our water resource, as it were. Thank you.
Can I add more? What about
already the Honorable Kashomba, your time for contribution is over. We are having response
just
from
a small
Honorable.
reminder to the chair on the same issue? Maybe chair.
Information?
Yes.
Oh,
Chair,
proceed.
I can also add more input on the rand rates. If water is not possible, where the rand passes all the way from Kondoike to Nakuru, Nyandarua to Nairobi, that area belongs to us. Can they be able to pay us that rate? Yes.
I believe that is contribution, that is not information. Proceed, Honorable Zachary.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I do understand this has been a very big debate pertaining Sasumo and Konoike, and being representatives from the South, Honorable Speaker, that is why you can see that each and every member wants to at least to make his point home. Nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, we will try as much as possible. Honorable Kashomba has indicated about if then we go for the RAD rates, for the RAD, for that the entire catchment area, and we are pursuing that, Honorable Kashomba. And not only that, we have other monies, Honorable Speaker, that is contribution in lieu of rates, all the RADs, Honorable Speaker. All the premises that the national government is premised here within the county, we want them to pay for those rates and to pay them in arrears, because we have arrears of more than 60 million, Honorable Speaker. About automation, Honorable Kashomba indicated about automation. Members, it is good to understand that we can never talk about automation when we do not have an elaborate system. And that is why we have not been in a position to have an elaborate digitized method, Honorable Speaker, but system, sorry. But I think with the upcoming revenue system, Honorable Speaker, we'll be in a position to automate nearly all our revenue streams, and with that, we will be in a position to enhance our collection. Honorable Speaker, I think those were the least concerns, and it is equally good to note that with the spatial planning, which is almost in place, Honorable Speaker, we will be in a position equally now even to tell how many hectares or the size that has been occupied by the national government or by the has premised the natural resources, so that now we can be able to get some revenue from that. And with that, Honorable Speaker, I move.
I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Finance, Economic Planning, ICT, and Revenue on the Nyandarua County Revenue Fund, half-year report, and financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024, as a report of the House, and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, still under the same order, there is a motion to be moved by the Honorable Elijah Mwangi Nyaga, the leader of Majority Party.
Honorable Ibrahim Mwangi Maina, on behalf of the Majority Leader, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of Majority Leader, Honorable Elijah Mwangi Nyaga, Leader of Majority Party, Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Orders 28.1 and 29.3, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adjourn for recess such that the recess commences tomorrow, the 10th day of July 2025 and ends on Monday, the 21st day of July 2025, in accordance with the approved legislative calendar for this fourth session of the Third Assembly. As such, this House adjourns today, the 9th day of July 2025 at 2:30 p.m. and shall resume its sitting on Tuesday, the 22nd day of July 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Mr. Speaker, this is as per the already approved legislative calendar. Also, you see, also members have some engagements in wards, and therefore we seek to correspond with the legislative calendar, and that's why we are moving this. And I do move, and I call Honorable Maria to second.
Honorable Mary Kabiro, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I support the motion for a recess, I want to say, personally, I think it is a good time to go and rest. We have had a very difficult time in this House. We have undergone issues we never foresaw coming. So I think I support and wish every member a restful session, a restful recess. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I propose the question, which is that this
Honorable
House does...
Point of what? We have a stranger in the House.
Order. Sergeant Atam, make sure the members question, which is that this House does adjourn for recess, such that the recess commences tomorrow, the 10th day of July 2025, and ends on Monday, the 21st day of July 2025, in accordance with the approved legislative calendar for this fourth session of the Third Assembly. As such, this House adjourns today, the 9th day of July 2025 at 2:30 p.m. and shall resume sittings on Tuesday, the 22nd day of July 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have adjourned the we have exhausted the business as appearing in this afternoon's order paper.
Honorable members, there being no other business to transact during this sitting, I now adjourn the House to Tuesday, the 22nd day of July 2025 at 9:30 a.m.